Even though I catch up on all my tabs in between streams, I swear every new stream I have more tabs than the last time. If the world can slow down for a little bit, I'd be really thankful. Let's see, window capture. Boop. Okay, so I love reading this that BlackRock is pretty much taking a big pile of money and burning it. I know that's what they've been doing for years at this point when it comes to the ETS shit and stuff, but it's kind of nice to see it go from like billions to trillions of like stupid people's money that they're just setting on fire for this ESG shit. Yeah, so pretty much the whole the greenwashing of investments is kind of imploding right now and stuff. So they're looking to dump even more money to shore it up and continue their sales pitch of like, oh, we're all about the environment, all this, environmental, social government stuff, blah blah blah. And it's just fucking stupid. It's like hundreds of billions a year they're just sinking into this, and it's effectively using other people's money for marketing. I, I'm all for it because I don't have anything in BlackRock, so they can burn for all I care. It's not my money. Yeah. And even funnier news, apparently, there's pirates in San Francisco Bay. So, pretty much the story behind this here is that there is a lot of boats in the bay that are derelict and just kind of like abandoned because of the financial woes of people and shit. So there's like a lot of boats laying around in the bay, and what people will do is they'll steal a bunch of them and like move them and then live in them and shit. They're pretty much like, instead of living in a trailer down on Skid Row, you have your own boat and stuff. And there's a bunch of people will do this. And here's the kicker: the kicker with this is that the cops. The cops are really finicky with their jurisdictions. So, like, anytime the cop comes around, all you have to do is, like, move your boat or boats just down a little ways, and then it becomes someone else's problem. And they bounce around between jurisdictions so much that pretty much all cop departments are just like, you know what? Not my problem. So you have like these eyesores of like all these boats that are just kind of like uh, moored in the middle of the bay or in little like little inlets and shit. And I just find it funny. There are legitimate pirates in San Francisco, in San Francisco Bay. That's hilarious. Uh, the website Not the Bee has really grown on me with time, as I because they eat up a lot of my feed, my news feed and stuff, and I kind of just glaze over their tweets and stuff. But actually going to the website and getting all these like animated gifs and memes and stuff, it tickles my fancy. Okay, what's about this one? Oh yeah. So the isn't that the Coast Guard's business? Well, it's kind of like the jurisdiction thing. It's like when the boats are like docked like along the shore, they're actually part of the they're under the jurisdiction of the police department. But then they go out into the water, then they're under the jurisdiction of the Coast Guards and stuff. So since these guys are moving the boats around from one jurisdiction to another, pretty much everyone involved, like between like the police defunding and all that shit and stuff, they just don't care. They just straight up don't care anymore. So that's how they're getting away with moving the boats around and straight up pirating boats. That's how it is. But this, and moving on to the next story, Disney got so butthurt because like these Disney Pixar like AI generated movie posters were memeing for a good while, And apparently Disney got butthurt to the point where they went to Microsoft. It's like, look, we're getting all these Bing AI things and it's making us look bad. But they're going at it from the point of like, oh, it's infringing on our copyright because, the Disney and Pixar logos are there and stuff. But we all know why they kind of cracked down on this here is because, it's stuff like this, like getting over it, Tiananmen Square, Rittenhouse, fentanyl, Granny Confused, bro. It's just fun. It's just funny shit. But yeah, but there are quite a few online AI generators and stuff. So this meme is going to continue even if it's not under the being AI branding. They can clamp down on this, but I have a feeling that the Streisand effect is going to be in full force with this here. Just give it a few more days. I'm sure this is going to pop off some more. I was not too surprised when this year came across, when I saw this. So Fruit Loops pushes gender identity in children's book giveaway. Come see what sugary cereal company wants kids to learn. Now, here's the thing: Kellogg's has been woke for a while, so this is not exactly surprising and stuff. But if you look at it, if you look at the details and closer and stuff, it's like buy this box, get free access to a free digital library with equity, diversity, and inclusion content. Okay, they're hitting the ground running. Okay, you got me. Here's the kicker. You have to be 13. You have to be above the age of 13 to be part of this promotion, and you also need to have your parents' permission, kind of thing. And what kind of threw me for a loop, pun intended, is as part of the it was this is being partnered, like Fruit Loops is being partnered with BGC Canada, which was formerly the Boys and Girls Club of Canada, pretty much Canada's equivalent of 4-H YMCA club. But they've kind of rebranded it to be like the modern day gender neutral crap and stuff. That's why they abbreviated down to BGC instead of saying boys and girls. Well, Clown World. But getting back to the thing and stuff, it really hammers into the point where you need parents' permission to get look at some of these books. So it's kind of curious to see what the books are here, where you need to be above the age of 13 with parents' permission, kind of shit. And of course, it's like gender empowerment and all that jazz and stuff. It's like those parent teacher meetings where you see the parents bring in the book from the library and stuff, and they start reading it, and then suddenly, like, the teachers and presenters are like, "Oh, that's not appropriate for this." Well, you're showing it to my kids, so where's the disconnect? Oh yes, I remember. So this article also goes into like the Tony the Tiger thing. The Tony the Tiger was a joke to start off with, but apparently he also had an appearance with Dylan Mulvaney at the Tony Awards, and I totally missed out on this. Uh, why is it always come back to these freaks? Uh, Okay, so in this article, FBI releases journal info from a white shooter within 48 hours of the crime, and a media race to report the attack may have been racially motivated. Funny how that works. So the linchpin of this is that whenever a melanated individual does a shooting and stuff, they hide the identity and like all the details and stuff, and they're all hush hush about it. But as soon as Whitey does it, it's like instantaneously out front and center. It's like, oh, white man getting uppity. Let's bash on Whitey. And it looks like the FBI got their hands caught in the cookie jar for the blatant double standards. Let's see. Yeah, it was the yeah. This is in regards to the Walmart shooting on November 20th. I remember reading about this and stuff, and I didn't think about much of it because another shooting and stuff. But then it's coming out and like, oh okay, it's like this is getting attention for politic reasons. Yeah, it's always one of those. It's also one of those cases. It's like when all the major news networks come out with their marching orders and they go and they march in lockstep like the Hill, CBS News, NBC News. They're all saying the same shit and stuff. It's just like, oh, okay, so they have an agenda with this. And of course, in contrast to like the Tranifesto shooting and stuff, it's like that there got buried. That got buried in a hurry, almost as bad as the Vegas shooting from years back and stuff. Because it's like, huh, this kind of glows. Yeah, it's not getting any press. Huh, wonder what's up with that. Okay, so this is a continuation of the Irish stabbing slash crackdown and free speech thing that's going on. So apparently, that chick and a bunch of her compatriots in that whatever party she's in and stuff, they're really cracking down on the reporting and speech of the shit that went down in Ireland. And pretty much it's kind of more just this government overreach and stuff of cracking down on like wrong think and stuff. So like actual text of bill trying to pass or will jail you for memes saying it on your phone. But this is shit that they've tried to pull before and stuff. And this is just like another incident of like, oh, here's a chance the people are scared and shit. We can implement all these rules and stuff to protect them, and they'll vote us in and yada 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 shit we've seen before. Yada yada yada. Yeah. So pretty much it comes down to wrong thing, either written or pictures and stuff. So like if you social media tweet memes and jokes and shit stuff of the current events going on, they can use that for justification for throwing you away again for wrong thing, thought crime, and all that jazz. Hide your, it's like hide your memes, hide your women, hide your kids, or else Algerian immigrants will stab them, or or Irish politicians will throw them in jail. Uh, I just love all these memes and jokes. Not the bees really growing on me. Okay, this one here, this is from Porian's neck of the woods. So, and Jimmy, well, okay, I know the A with the circle is whack, so Atkinson, whatever, Jimmy. So apparently the Swedish Democrats are having a little titsy and stuff for all their for their country being Islamified and stuff. And old Jimmy here wants to crack down on effectively Islamic and Muslim culture and stuff. So like the buildings, all the mosques, they're going up like weeds right now. He wants to crack down on that and get them the fuck out, which I'm all for. Atkinson, Atkinson, Wilson, or Jimmy. Good old Jimmy. I like Jimmy. Jimmy is displaying wrong thing in Sweden, and I'm all for that. Yeah, yeah, it's pretty much all there is to it. It's just I have for years made fun of Sweden. I love Sweden. I love people from Sweden. However, much like Canada, the government's fucked. So it's refreshing to see someone in the Swedish government actually having two brain cells to rub together and isn't all on board with national suicide, as it were. I think it's refreshing. If nothing else, nothing else, it gives our homie Parian a little bit of hope. Okay. Oh, okay. So this here started popping off recently, like over the last day or so, and Journalist of the Year tries to publicly shame kid for wearing Kansas City Chief headdress. So pretty much what went down with this is this kid. Let's see, he's the leader of second party, so it's nice to hear. Yeah, I'm rooting for you on that one. Okay, but here, this kid went to see the Kansas City Chiefs. He's a big fan, so he wore the headdress and stuff, and the team colors are red and black. So what this shit stain here, Karen J. Phillips over at Deadspin, which I need to remind people is supposed to be a sports news thing. But Deadspin's been dead for a while, pun intended, dead for a while and stuff, and they've been, just woke identity politics shit. So pretty much what this Shitstain did is that he took one picture of this kid, which half his face, and he was like, "Oh, this is a racist kid, and he needs to be destroyed because he's wearing blackface." But the full picture and context is that this kid is wearing the team colors, half and half. And when he got called out, on it, he doubled down and saying like, "Oh, he's wearing." Not kidding. I'm not even joking. This is literally his logic. It's like, "Oh, he's wearing blackface and red face. That's double wrong." I'm like, motherfucker. It's like you were going to get called out and like immediately on this here, and he decides to double down. Yeah, and he's like on like a blocking spree and like protected stuff. But I can't remember where I read this, but someone made a comment and stuff that the reason why this fellow was angry with the kid and stuff that he was pulling double duty for impersonating Elizabeth Warren and Justin Trudeau, and I got a good chuckle out of that. Hey, Devin. Oh my god, it just keeps on going. Okay, so this fellow apparently was awarded the Philadelphia Association of Black Journalists Journalist of the Year. Yeah, really big and brave journalists. You're not going to like a war zone or reporting on like government or business corruption and stuff, or war and or anything that would actually be important. No, 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 no. You're going to call a kid a racist and try to Rittenhouse like a legitimate kid at a football game. Fuck off. Just fuck off. That's all it comes down to. It. Fuck off. Oh my god. Okay. Coming back to the Irish thing. So not only are they cracking down, not only are the Irish politicians cracking down on the wrong thing and like trying to bury the fact that it was a Algerian migrant who went on a stabbing spree and stuff. They're really trying their hardest to paint the riots that rose up from that legitimate, like straight up terrorist attack. They're framing the rioters as organized far right terrorists. And again, this is fucking bent. And I don't know what more can you say. Is they're trying to crack. They're using, as with any terrorist attack, they are using every single angle as a cudgel to crack down on people. And I don't know, it's also tiring. I'm tired of the shit. They need the immigrants' vote. It's easier to hide money in welfare. Yeah, I mean, fuck, I live in Leafland. I know. Like, I know on a biblical level. I know. Okay, this kind of pissed me off. So, the NHS slammed for recording gender identity of newborn babies. So, pretty much the NHS in England, like, the online reporting system for midwives, like, whenever a midwife delivers a baby, she has to report it to the system. So, you are government property the instant you're born. So, the government system right now is they effectively got rid of the notion of sex. So they're referring to like it's like, so they have the option of like female, male, non-binary, or prefer to self-describe. A fucking newborn, okay? And it's so wishy-washy. It's like your answer does not have to match the gender they were given at birth. Yeah. You guys can see. You can see. Yeah. I had a feeling you guys would be on board for like this. This legitimately gets me angry. It's like, what the fuck? And it's not like I'm sure the doctors at the hospital and stuff have to abide by this stupid system too. But the fact of the matter is, like, this article is pretty much like a midwife. Like the midwives have to report to the system and stuff, and I imagine it was a midwife who leaked this information out, because it is grade A bullshit. It's like, why are you asking this? We collect this information to better tailor healthcare services to your needs. We do not discriminate on grounds of gender. It's like, motherfucker, this. I'm at a loss for words. It's just like, what? Uh, yeah, so this is in the UK. This is in the UK. So like, why does a midwife have that authority? I'm not entirely sure how the midwives work and stuff, but I know even here in Canada, midwives are a thing and stuff. However, if you to be registered as a midwife, I can't speak for the UK, but for Canada, I know for a fact, because I know a midwife, is that to be registered, effectively midwives are RNs, registered nurses and stuff, and to be registered as a midwife and stuff, they do have to comply with reporting laws. So you deliver a baby, you have to report, you have to file, you are on the hook to file the paperwork for the baby. So since the UK is doing this here, assign gender, not sex at birth and stuff, I imagine it's either happening right now and I just haven't heard it yet, or it's going to be coming soon. And this is fucking bullshit. I mean, it's like they even, like, the fact they even have like a drop down saying, why are you asking this? Like, they knew people were gonna ask or like push back on this here, and they're like, and they had it's like they're trying to justify it, like right there. Yeah. Okay. So this was our moment of hate for Clown World. There's no way for me to do a good transition on this here. War based geopolitics actually amuses me and stuff, so this is good. This is a pick me up for me. So, okay, so this is a continuation of the new polar bear gas slash communication pipeline anchor cutting I mentioned a while back and stuff. And pretty much what it comes down to is that they have like the local governments have evidence, like no ifs ands or buts, that it was this Chinese ship that deliberately dragged their anchor to sever the communication and gas pipeline. And here's the kicker. Like they have a lot of other evidence and stuff, but you can tell the evidence from the pictures because while everyone was focused on like, oh, it's missing an anchor, but if you actually look up here, like on the upper left corner of the picture, like a good chunk of the fucking shipping containers are ready to fall off, and that would only happen if like there was a hard jerk, like when they drop anchor. So they lost their anchor, had a hard jerk, and almost lost their fucking cargo. And here, like, my family's been sailors and fishermen for generations and shit. And here's the thing: when you drop an anchor, you know it. Even if you don't like, if even if the anchor doesn't drop on the bottom, just dropping the anchor at all, like, as a shit ton of drag. So just dropping it and it floating, like the anchor floating in the water, will drag the boat, and it is fucking noticeable. Doesn't matter how big the boat is, it's fucking noticeable. And the fact that they were dragging it across the bottom and stuff, and they severed that stuff, we all know they were doing that intentionally. Well, yeah, smart to use the Chinese, impossible to deduct whether it was malicious or incompetence. This is true and stuff. But here's the thing: every there is no such thing as a private boat in the Chinese Navy. Like the Chinese military claims all quote unquote private vessels as their own, and they all get marching orders from the PRC. So, like, there are instances of like harassing local fishermen, like for example in the Philippines, and like just general harassment and stuff. But the fact this I can't remember. This has happened before. I've read articles over the years of like Chinese vessel drags anchor and severs this kind of cable or this kind of pipeline stuff. The kicker for this here article and this situation specifically is that it's not in China's wheelhouse. It's not in the Saudi. It's not in the Southeast China Sea. This is in the middle. This is in the middle of Europe, like in the Baltics. Yeah, yeah, it's deliberate. So pretty much like everyone in this area, like Finland, Estonia, like the Nordics and the Baltics, like everyone's been on high alert since like the last pipeline blowing, and the fact like this has happened, like everyone's on edge right now, and I'm just generally curious to see how this will go. Yeah, did it? Okay, yeah. So also, I've been reading reports of Russia doing a brouhaha about blockading like the Baltic Sea and stuff. But pretty much when I read it first, they phrased it as they're going to do like a Europe blockade. I'm like, you're not going to fucking blockade all of Europe. That's just not happening. The Baltic Sea, maybe I can see that there, but that would go tits up in a hurry. I don't know. I think it's interesting. It's another geopolitical data point to maybe pay attention to. You know, Northern Europe is starting to look like it might be popping off. Uh, I don't. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna jump over to this one here since it's relevant to the conversation. So, like blockade could be done in Estonia against Russia alone. They have more vessels underwater than above U-boats. Yeah. Okay. So apparently, this is just like hot off the presses. So Finland has its border on lockdown, except for one border crossing for a few days now. Now it's like Finland has totally cut off all border crossings with Russia right now. And this is more from what we talked about the other day of Russia continuing and upping the game of using economic migrants as an invasion force. Uh, Finland has gone full shut it down. Shut it down, boys. Well, here's the thing. Like with Finland joining NATO and stuff, like I know they've been building a border wall and stuff, but I know it's not fully operational and online yet and stuff. So I'm kind of curious to see how them totally closing down the border without actually having it physically in place with like a full on wall border. Like it's not operational yet, so I imagine they're going to have like manpower issues in actually enforcing the total border shutdown. I wish him the best. Wish him luck. Good luck, Finland. I'm with you on that one. But whether or not they can actually, do anything about it, it remains to be seen. Okay, so this year, my personal thing I have money riding on for popping off World War III has been and always will be the Koreas. I've had money running on the Koreas for years at this point. Now, North Korea has recently launched a spy satellite. How effective it is, who knows? But this caught my eye in that in the demilitarized zone between North and South Korea, there is there's a village. There's like the neutral ground village, and as of a couple of weeks ago, North Korea has pulled out of the neutral ground village and stuff, and now they've actually reactivated a bunch of current as of until now inactive military posts. So they launched their spy satellite. They pull out of the neutral zone and they reactivate a bunch of military posts. Now, granted, this is North Korea we're talking about, so their military posts aren't exactly anything to write home about. Because all I see right here is a fishing ice shack or a little tiny garden shed. Yeah, it's just a shed. Yeah, so like North Korea starting shit is important for the fact that they're actually starting shit, but it has to be put in the context of like this is what we're talking about. This is their military posts that they're reactivating and stuff. So it's not the end of the world, but the fact is that they're even doing it at all needs to be noted. No point to build much when it's going to be created in a second if there is a war. Okay, here's my armchair general thoughts for a North Korean South and North Korean war. I'm curious if it ever does pop off for the timing, because it is in China's best interest to support North Korea. However, I don't see North Korea starting anything unless, say, for example, China were to start off something with Taiwan. Now, if like my rationale for the order of operations would be China starts off something with Taiwan, North Korea gets emboldened to start something with South Korea. However, North Korea won't be able to do shit without China, but China will be all invested in doing Taiwan. So whether China will be kind of screwed because they have to go all in on Taiwan to get Taiwan, but they don't want to leave North Korea alone. to do their own thing because they're going to get because North Korea will get is like North Korea will get their shit kicked in, and if that happens, there's going to be a mass exodus of refugees over the Chinese border, which is what China doesn't want. Taiwan is currently on election season. Its majority is pro-China. Yeah, I've been paying attention to that. I'm kind of curious to see how the election is going to go. But there's going to be some tomfuckery going on with the Taiwanese election. I don't know. That was just kind of more like I, I have been very interested in as a personal curiosity. So let's see. Iran sues leading newspaper over leaked top secret morality guard document. Okay, so this here is with the this is about the chick who got beaten to death by the morality police a while back. So pretty much when that happened, the government tried to throw the morality police under the bus, saying it was a citizens' morality police and not the quote-unquote official morality police. And pretty much what ended up happening is a bunch of documents got released saying that no, they quote-unquote citizens morality police is actually both funded and organized and sanctioned by the government morality police. I know that's a lot of things, but like they were pretty much trying to disassociate with them by saying it's like, oh no, this is a private citizen thing. But the private citizen brigade gets their marching orders from the government, and that's what ended up coming out in this news article, and that really pissed them off, and they're cracking down on the newspaper organization who released this information. So an NGO, yeah, pretty much. It's infuriating. Like this is more stuff that pisses me off and stuff, but it's kind of one of the things like what's good. I don't know. It's the same tactics. It's the same tactics of like smoke and mirrors and saying like, okay, no, this is a private citizens thing. We didn't actually have anything to do with it, but bullshit, they actually did. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so I remember seeing this Troon on my feed over the last few days and stuff, and I never really paid too close of attention to it. Why did they do that to her? So the on the previous one, they beat the girl, the teenage girl, to death because she wore out her hair. She wasn't wearing a veil. So the morality police beat her because she wasn't wearing a veil. That was for that. Okay, yeah. So this here, so I wasn't really paying attention to this. It's like, oh, another tune. I don't care and stuff. But the detail is that apparently a bunch of TikTokers, trannies specifically, have discovered the beauty that is the Quran, and suddenly they're all like, "Oh, we should get in on this Quran Islam stuff." And so that's the context for this person showing up on my feed, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." But like you, me, and everyone else knows what the Quran thinks of those people. So it's just like again of like the gays for Palestine thing. It's like motherfucker, they're gonna be throwing you off a roof. It, it's a disconnect. It's a disconnect again. It's like fuck. Yeah. I don't know. I was just I was just amused to see context for the mustache, long haired fellow here and stuff. It's like, oh, that's why that was trending on my feed. If only these fools did more research. Here's the thing: they could do all the research. Here's the thing with these people: they can do like it's a cult. It's a cult. They are believers and stuff. They can do all the research in the world and stuff, but like, you know, quote unquote, like these poor oppressed brown people and their holy book and stuff. These are the good guys. You want to be part of the good guys, don't you? It's shit like that. It's like they can be told to their face, like, motherfucker, they're going to kill you if they find you. They won't care because they're believers. Oh yeah, like yeah, yeah, yeah. So like certain sects of Islam will are okay with truths, but that's because like okay, we'll turn you into a woman and you're going to behave like a woman because they don't talk about stuff, but there's a lot of buggery. There's a lot of buggery over there. Okay, coming back to the Irish thing. So, Conor McGregor brands Irish leader disgraced for claiming Hamas child was lost. So, I mentioned this the other day and stuff. So, like, that post from the Irish leader, it's like saying the child was lost. It's like, no, the child was kidnapped and stuff. And, you know, McGregor here was calling them out on it and stuff. Like, everyone under the dog was calling them out and stuff. It's like, no, the kid was not lost and returned and was found again. The kid was kidnapped and then released. Fucking cunts. And yeah, so like the politicians are coming down. Like also, I also did an article the other day of uh, the government cracking down on McGregor for like wrong thinking, hate speech and stuff. But we've been over this before. Okay, so this is near and dear in my heart. Three graphs show that there is no climate crisis. This is stuff I already know from being a geologist and shit, and I've covered it before, and I don't know. First hiking of Ireland, yeah, that'd be good. Okay, so the long and short of this is that the climate, the climate cult, it is a cult. The climate cult has always been using carbon dioxide as the cudgel to scare people of like, oh, all this carbon dioxide is going to end the world if we go up a degree or two. You need to stop the carbon, and we know this in that the carbon they want to get rid of is you. You are the carbon they want to get rid of, and to explain this graph in particular. Uh, okay, here's the thing. Carbon dioxide does affect global temperatures, but not to the extent that they're trying to sell you. What they're trying to sell you is that carbon dioxide is the be all end all of climate regulation when it comes to temperatures and stuff. It's not. It is a factor, but they always try to weasel word it into as far to the effect that in absence of anything else, carbon dioxide is the devil. What they don't talk about is everything else that supersedes carbon dioxide by an order of magnitude. Mainly the sun, and then also an order of magnitude like the position of the earth. Those are way larger overriding factors when compared to carbon dioxide. And what this graph shows is that, yeah, if like what this graph shows is that if carbon dioxide was to be the be all end all for temperature change, what the temperature in carbon dioxide would do is that they would be matching. They would be in lockstep. But what you have is you have major disconnects between carbon dioxide concentration and Earth temperatures. That's what this graph shows, is that there's a disconnect between what carbon dioxide is and what temperatures you're seeing and stuff. And if the doom and gloom were true, what you would see would be like one line and not two. Let's see, long-term historical record. Okay, here's the thing with long-term historical records for carbon dioxide. They're shit. It doesn't mean crap. Yeah, so this here graph shows the way. The first graph shows the way things are, and temperature and CO2 records seems to be a lot more in lockstep, which is what they're trying to peddle and stuff. But this is in a much smaller scale. Like the scale we're looking at here is only like way over here. Like the second graph we're seeing here is only like over here, like over. I'm covering it up. It's only like down here in the bottom where the temperature and the carbon dioxide on this graph are a little more closer together than compared to the rest of the graph. And this that is what they're trying to scare you with. Final graph, reason long paper. Okay, yeah. So this graph is trying to show a perfect system. This graph is showing a perfect system, which is not the case and stuff. And even given a perfect scenario in case and stuff, there's still going to be a disconnect, because the climate cult tries to push that carbon dioxide is the be all end all great Satan of our time and stuff, whereas carbon dioxide is not the only greenhouse gas, and there's a bunch of other ones. There's a whole suite of greenhouse gases and stuff, and not all of them are created equal. And I don't know. It's tiring because I remember when I was in university in the early 2000s stuff, and like even I knew it was a crock of shit back then. And here's the thing: they've been peddling this stuff for decades, like since like fucking like the 50s, 60s, and 70s, when it first started to get the ball rolling and stuff. Like we've seen the joke, we've seen the meme. It's like the world will end in 10 years. Fast forward 10 years. Oh, it's going to end in 10 more years. It like the climate cult is a doomsday cult. It's a doomsday cult for a reason and stuff. And like all doomsday cults, it's like, oh, Armageddon didn't happen. Oh, it's going to happen later. We were wrong this time. It's going to happen in the future. Trust us. We'll be right this time. And they never are, because you know how it is. It's a death cult. It's bullshit. And all it is, it's soon TM. It's like, trust the plan. Yeah, I don't know. I just hate it. It sabotages environmentalism by making it entirely focused on CO2, and we also have a thousand other environmental problems that need fixing. Yep. Bunch of crazy that should have drank the Kool-Aid. Man, that's a carbon reduction I could get behind. Flavor Aid 2024. I don't know. I will cover this. I will cover this from time to time, if for no other reason than a reminder that yes, this is a death cult. But it's a death cult that's being used to control you by the powers that be. Never forget that. You know, and it's stupid shit. It's stupid shit where they're trying to push like the science is settled. Motherfucker, when the science is settled, that's called dogma. It's a fucking cult. Get rid of it. Oh, I remember this. Okay, so apparently there are certain areas in the UK where if you die and you don't have a will or next of kin, what happens to your estate is that it is forfeited to the government. And King Charles, for years, has been in charge of this little area. And every time you die in this area, and you don't have a next of kin or a will, your estate goes to the crown. And this motherfucker has been siphoning off like millions of dollars a year into shit. I've always known that this was a case. So, like I've always known that this was a thing, but it's kind of neat to see. Okay, this is it actually is a case, and in this particular geographical area. But I know for a fact this is not the only. This is not the only geographical area. I know there's a bunch of other areas, but this is the area in focus for this particular reporting. All states do this with inheritance. If you have no next as kin, is just a reminder. Yeah, this isn't just a UK with the crown thing. This is kind of an everywhere thing. But I find it particularly neat because it does involve a reigning monarch, and it's not a good look kind of thing for it to come out in the wash. Is kind of what I'm getting at and why I find it amusing. It's infuriating. Don't get me wrong. It's infuriating to have your estate forfeited to the crown and stuff, but I think it's neat. Yeah, and like again, coming back to Epstein thing and stuff, it's all one giant incestuous club, and we're not in it. And every day I'm thankful I'm not part of this club. Yeah, yeah. Pretty much. You know, Charles and his buddies and stuff. It's just like, ugh. Okay, this is coming back straight up to rage thing. So, British High Court officer tries to break into home to collect unpaid TV license fees. So, pretty much. For those who don't know, in the UK, you have to pay tax if you own a monitor of whatever. So it doesn't. So it doesn't matter. So it doesn't matter if you own a computer monitor and you don't have a cable service and stuff. The fact you have a computer monitor that's capable of playing the BBC, you have to pay a tax on it. And what these fuckers will do is they'll go to house and they'll look through like your mailbox. You look through your window and to see if you have a screen, and if they cross-reference you on a database and see that you're not paying taxes. Now here's the part where it gets really infuriating. So if they catch you having a monitor and you're not paying tax on it, they are legally allowed to break into your house and acquire just compensation. So that's a fancy way of saying they're legally allowed to break and enter your house and rob you for what they're owed. This happens a lot. Canada's not much better and stuff because Canada has the CBC and that's paid through our taxes. At least we're not. this is, it pains me to say this. At least we're not as bad as the UK, because the UK, they base their tax on having a screen to watch and play the BBC. Us, it's just a straight up tax. It's just part of our taxes and stuff. But the fact they go down to the minutia of like, oh, you do have a license for that TV, and they fucking break into your house to get what they're owed. That is grade A bullshit. You used to have the same system, and it just made everyone pay a tax instead of whether or not you have a device capable of public. Yeah, pretty much the same thing with Canada. But yeah, it pretty much is rolled into like quote unquote part of your taxes, and it's not like this level of nannying. The fact that the UK still has this level of nannying is kind of stupid. Like if you're gonna be a totalitarian twat, at least you can be more efficient about it. This is highly inefficient and just makes you look bad. Oh, the UK going down the shitter. There's many reasons for that there, but this is the crux of this here is a level of pettiness. It's very fucking petty. Ah, it's frustrating. It's infuriating. Okay, so this here caught my attention, and I find it interesting. So, uh, Poland and Ukraine haven't been getting along for a while, and how do I say this? So Poland, the government, is on paper trying to play nice with Ukraine, but Poland and Ukraine are having a bit of a falling out right now. Now, unofficially, truckers, farmers, and laborers are blockading the transfer of goods and services between Poland and Ukraine right now. And the government is saying like, "Oh, it's out of our hands. It's private citizens are blockading, resources between the countries." Yeah, Poland's going to invade Ukraine soon. Yeah, they want the land. So I don't know. This is not something super big and stuff, but it's another thing to pay attention to and stuff. It's like how I mentioned before with the morality police in Iran, the disconnect of like, oh, it's totally not us. It's the total private organization doing it and stuff. It's not us. Don't blame us. And in this case here, it's the Polish government saying like, all right, we're going to have a trade embargo with you, but not officially have a trade embargo with you. So, like, the truckers and the farmers are going to be blocking the transfer of goods and services. It's weaselly, but I get it. Oh, this shit again. Okay. Water. Okay. So the new Speaker of the House, the new Speaker of the House released all the outstanding January 6th security footage the other week. And I was not surprised because I watched the live feeds at the time of like when January 6th was happening. I was watching all the live streams and feeds and stuff, and I saw it happening live. So, like, the fact of the matter is, I knew that the quote unquote insurrectionists were let in, and I know that they were escorted and stuff. So there was no break in entering. Like, they were let in and stuff, and it was all organized. And it was all organized to the effect of the control opposition and stuff. And of course, they clamped down on all the surveillance footage and only put out the stuff that would justify the narrative they were putting out for the quote unquote insurrection. And I don't know. This is just more of the same stuff. We've most of you probably have seen this before and know what's going on and stuff. But again, it's just more stuff that needs to be said and to not let it be memory hold, because there are still people who are in jail for this quote unquote insurrection. Yeah, I got a tour excuse to jail. Yeah, you know it and stuff. Like January 6th was the, how do I say this? January 6th was a false flag event, but it was a lazy false flag event because it was all that live streams and security cameras and stuff. And like, I saw it live. And it's one of those things where it's like, who are you going to believe? You or me or your lying eyes? It's like, again, I'm just frustrated at the level of incompetence of the powers of B. Like, the powers of B want to control the world and own you and I, but they're so fucking lazy and arrogant about it and stuff. It's not like back in the day where you had like 3 news channels and like 2 newspapers that you owned and stuff. You could control the flow of information, but ever since the internet was invented, like that genie's not going back in the bottle. You're not fooling anyone. Well, okay, they are fooling a bunch of idiots who will buy the slop, the goy slop that's get put in their trough. Like, no ifs, ands, or buts. But yeah, the powers that be are incompetent fucktards. I agree. Yeah, it's true. Like, the competency crisis hits all industries, like from top to bottom. Everyone is incompetent and everyone is lazy, and it's just out there for everyone to see, and there's no hiding it anymore. And don't get me wrong, I have a good laugh about it and stuff because, you know, when the emperor has no clothes, I'm going to point and laugh. But it's just like, I don't know. It's laugh, laugh or cry. What do we have next? Okay, so I'm not going to cover this too much. It's pretty much losertarians. It's more libertarians, but I digress. So the quote-unquote far right, it's always the far right, but the libertarian liberal movement and stuff is a thing, and is happening and stuff. And I'm kind of curious to see how things are going and stuff. But it's funny because you know, if you listen to the mainstream media, which you shouldn't, but it's funny to say like, oh, these are the next Hitler, the next Trump. And it's just like 2016 was a bit of an awakening in that the powers that be allowed Trump to run as controlled opposition, and it's like, oh, he's never going to get in. And then they went all full fuck force with Biden, and Biden's totally the elected president of the United States. But here's the thing, like, the powers that be aren't as in control of things as they tell themselves that they are. Yeah, 2016 fucked up the powers that be. But here's the thing, I imagine like, we've already had a few elections of libertarians getting into power in different countries and stuff. I would posit that 2024 is going to be fucking hilarious. 2016 is going to be a hearty chuckle in comparison to the full fuck force that is going to be 2024. Because you got the American election, which is, you know, the American election is going to come down to Biden and Trump again, and that's going to be a giant shit show, and I'm going to be all for it. But it's not just going to be America and stuff. Like, a lot of quote unquote liberal / right movements and stuff are sick and tired and stuff, and the tide is turning. The pendulum is swinging, and it's going to swing fucking hard, and I'm all for it. Yeah. This does mention the Argentinian guy, or as Kirsche calls him, the '70s Wolfman. Okay, here's the TLDR for the Argentinian election and stuff. The guy that got elected, he's hardcore. I mean, like full balls to the wall and cap. He wants to get rid of their central bank. He wants to get rid of this, get rid of that, and it's just like I'm actually rooting for the guy. The guy looks hilarious and stuff, but who knows how it's going to be because specifically in Argentina in Argentina, how do I put this? The military is not happy with him because he wants to effectively trim all the fat as far as military personnel and contracts, the lucrative military contracts in Argentina go. And he wants to clean house on that there. And much like JFK wanting to clean house with the CIA, I don't imagine that going over too well with the powers that be in Argentina. Yeah, he's going to slip and fall on a knife 19 times. Yep. Yep. 2 bullets to the back of the head. Kind of thing. Rule of suicide. But until that happens, and it's probably going to happen, but until that happens, he looks like a hoot and holler, and I look forward to the shenanigans. Okay. Back to straight up piss me off territory. So, segregated classrooms sparked controversy as proponents criticize white standard. So this has been making its way through the education system for a while. So we've known this for a while that segregation is back in style. It is the new flavor because of the soft bigotry of low expectations. We have to segregate the poor black fellow because he's too stupid to keep up with whitey and Asiany. So we need to segregate the blacks because they're too stupid to keep up with the whites and the Asians. Is what this comes down to. And this is not me saying that, that's them saying that. Yeah, finally something good from the 20s is back. Bring back segregation. The VA one. Maybe. Doesn't ring a bell. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, this is just going over stuff we've heard before and stuff. It's like they're trying to the useful idiots are trying to justify the segregation and stuff. It's like, oh, these poor black people, like the white savior thing. VAs are not allowed to voice character. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Kershi's talked about that, and I have been following that there. Yeah, yeah. They're chicken. They're coming home to roost as far as the voice actor thing goes and stuff because they were the proponents of like, oh, you have to voice act only your a character that is of your race. Okay, well then, you Mr. Asian guy, you can only play Asians now. Like that Pro Jared fellow and other people or stuff is just like, so they can actually teach. Yeah, Pro ZD. Yeah, that was it. That was the guy. I don't know. It's the age old thing. It's like don't call it a grave. Because you're the one that dug it. Feels like it might be a push from teachers so they can actually teach and not act like prison guards. Well, here's the thing. If you look at most countries, the largest organized labor unions in every country on the face of the planet are teachers unions and stuff. And so, of course, they're pushing this here shit. I don't know. I have no skin in the game because I don't have kids in school, so the whole system can burn down for all I care and stuff. But it's really funny. It's really funny to see examples of like the only people who ever care about race are racists and stuff. So all these progressives that are hemming and hawing about race and stuff. Well, what does that make them? I've been a teacher. I know how it is. LOL. Yep. I do not envy that profession whatsoever. And this kind of comes back. This here article kind of wax philosophical about one of the underlying causes of clown world, in that America's dangerous desire to demonize masculinity must stop. And this is largely shit we've heard before, but it's coming from the this article is largely coming down to the effect of the disparate, at least in the Western world. The long and short of this article is that in the Western world right now, the disparity between female and male life expectancy is so huge right now. The gap between life expectancy between men and women is fucking enormous right now, and is largely because the men's life expectancy is so low right now because of suicides. The suicide rate for men nowadays is an all-time high and is dragging the average life expectancy way the fuck down. And then you have to ask the question, why are so many men committing suicide? Well, it's because since nowadays, if you're born a man, you're told from the day you're born, you are Satan incarnate. And that does not stop, and that does not let up as time goes on and stuff. So it's not surprising, I am not fucking surprised whatsoever, that the longer time goes with Clown World saying like toxic masculinity, the patriarchy, it's like all men are rapists and blah and blah and blah. Like, I am inoculated to this shit because I know it's bullshit. But to kids growing up nowadays, this is the world they're growing up into, and this is all they know. And that actually is that's heartbreaking. That's soul crushing to have boys growing up nowadays from the moment go that they're Satan incarnate, and this is just the way the world is right now. And honestly, I have a hard time arguing against, like, like these kids just want to tap out. They just want to have a nice life, but the nice life is not going to happen, and they just want to tap out. And honestly, I find it really difficult to blame them. It's sad and soul crushing, but it's just like, fuck, what can you do? And this is a little cathartic for me in that, like, I don't have a large audience, like I'm just a nobody and stuff, but I will through repetition not allow this shit to be memory hold or to go unheeded and stuff. Even if I'm preaching to the choir and stuff, I want to let it be known that, guys, you're not alone. We're all in this together. If things are shit, things are going to get a lot worse before they get better and stuff, but that's life. It sucks. But hey, you're not alone. I stopped drinking soy-based drinks and I felt more powerful. I never got into soy-based drinks. I have almond-based milk because of my lactose intolerance and stuff, but I do avoid the soy. But I do like me almond milk. It is very tasty with my Slim Fast. It's very tasty. Actually, I did notice that Silk puts out oat milk. I want to give that a try because I'm really big on oats. I like me oats. I want to give that a try sometime. Okay, so even Oliver Stone's starting to question the 2020 election. So, for those who don't know, Oliver Stone is a Hollywood producer, director guy, and he's been a hardcore leftist for a long ass time and stuff. And here's the thing: Oliver Stone has been a cheerleader for leftist policies for decades and stuff. And here's the thing, like even Bill Mayer is a is a cheerleader for leftist ideology and stuff, but here's the thing, shit is so fucked right now. Like the quote unquote narrative right now with the American leftist politics and all that all that jazz is so fucking over with and stuff. You can't even convince the cheerleaders. Like even these guys are tapping out. Even these guys are tapping out of the bullshit and stuff because like even they can't. Like even they can see the writing on the wall and see that like things are changing and stuff. And if they don't start changing their tune soon, like effectively what it comes down to is that if they don't start changing their tune soon, they're going to be lined up against the wall because the pendulum is a swinging and it's going to be a swinging hard and stuff. And these leftists are already starting to pivot and saying like, oh no, we were on your guys' side the whole time too. Fuck off. You weren't. Eat shit and die. Yeah, it's one of those things like Oliver Stone, Alexander movie is one of my favorite movies, despite not being very good biography over of Alexander. But the guy can make movies for sure. Yeah, yeah. You can be. Here's the thing: you can be talented and good at your job and stuff. But like, what's a good example? Patrick Stewart. Here's a good example. Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart is a grade A, top of the line actor, one of the best actors in the world. However, Patrick Stewart is a fucking idiot and who doesn't have an original thought in his mind. Like even back before the dementia started rolling in and stuff, even back in the day and stuff. Like Patrick Stewart can read a mighty fine script and act the best and stuff, but it's it's like he's part of the cult. And same thing with like Bill Mayer and Oliver Stone and all these like all the Holly weird cult. It's like the fact that they're pivoting and like it even comes back to the um it even comes back to the corona forgiveness thing, like during the lockdowns and stuff. Like it's like do as you're told or else you're going to kill grandma. And it's like we're telling you what to do, and then nowadays it's like, oh, we only knew about it, what we were only dealing with what we knew at the time, oh please forgive us. It's like, no, motherfucker, you wanted me dead, you want me dead in the ditch, fuck off. You were the enemy then, you're the enemy now, nothing you can say will change that. I don't know, fuck these guys. Okay, this here gave me a chuckle. Okay, this gave me a chuckle. White savior hysteria and the real reasons why leftists hate YouTuber Mr. Beast. So, for those who don't know, Mr. Beast recently went to Africa and he paid the bill to get a bunch of water wells drilled in all these poor communities in Africa. And then immediately, the usual suspects started screeching, reeing from the rafters about this and stuff. And it largely comes down to Mr. Beast did a good thing. He did a good thing and made them look bad, is what it comes down to. And there's no hiding it. It is obvious that Mr. Beast doing a good thing for its own sake made the quote unquote progressives look bad. And I find this fucking hilarious. And of course, when he did it, they here again with these people, it's all about projection. You know, like it's all projection and stuff. And he like they were calling him like, oh, white savior, mighty whitey, white guilt complex, blah 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 blah. I mean, I'm also against him building wells in Africa. But that's because I'm racist. I'm also of the opinion and stuff. I'm against the Atlantic slave trade. The Atlantic slave trade was the worst thing to ever happen to the Western world and should have never happened. But yeah, I don't know. It's kind of fun. I just laugh at this here because it's like everything else we've talked about and stuff. It's just so blatant. Again, it comes down to the competency thing. Is like they're not even trying to hide their jealousy, their envy, their hatred, their straight up racism and stuff because it's like it's like the school thing, that the school segregation thing we were just talking a few minutes ago and stuff. It's like, oh, you poor blacks, you can't drill these wells because you're black. And if Whitey comes along and helps you, that's bad. It's like fuck off. Having to figure out the take. Okay, this is where I'm going to get on my geology soapbox. I did a stint working with a well drilling company and stuff. And here's the thing: drilling water wells specifically. It's tricky. It's difficult. It's like for example, here where I live in North America and stuff, you go down like 30 feet, you're hitting the water table. Like it's really stupid. But a place like certain places in like Africa and stuff, you have to go fucking deep. And here's the thing: if you poke a hole in the ground, there is no guarantee that you're going to hit water. And putting a hole in the ground costs money. Like I went over in an earlier stream how much it costs to drill diamond drill rock for exploration geology and stuff, and it's even though it's not is nearly as much. It does even though it doesn't cost as much to just poke a hole in the ground to look for water. It still does cost money and stuff. So for an arid and like low water table place like name a place in Africa, you're going to be drilling a deep hole, and there's no guarantee you're going to show returns. So, like Mr. Beast fronting the money for this here is actually a big deal, and it will pay dividends for generations to come for these people. And the groundwater has to be clean enough to further process and drink water. Yeah, there's so much. Like here's the thing: like people aren't aware of all the involvedness that goes into like getting a well for drinking water. Is there going to be water? How deep you have to go? Is it going to be cleaned? Is it going to need to be treated and stuff? Will it affect the aquifer if for drawdown and stuff? Like it's a very big and involved process and stuff. And the fact that it's a very big involved process means it's not cheap. So like even if Mr. Beast were to throw millions of dollars into like poking a few holes and getting a few wells out there, that's still a big deal. And I say good for him and God bless. But the fact that him doing the right thing, pissing off the leftists and stuff is fucking hilarious. People have forgotten water doesn't just spawn out of the faucet, much like beef doesn't spawn in the supermarket. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Again, it comes down to the disconnect. Overall, humanity has had it too good for too long, and we're reaping the consequences of things being too good for too long. And the reckoning is coming, and it's not going to be pretty. Nope. Got 30 minutes till Kershey. And I got 2 more articles. I think I can do it. Okay. Disney's Wish is a theatrical bomb in the latest string of woke failures. For those who don't know, the latest Pixar movie flopped, And pretty much the long and short of the storyline is that multi-ethnic girl group power is fighting against the white male patriarchy, literally verbatim. And the storyline is that pretty much it's a city of genies and stuff, and like the powers that be, the mighty whitey, dictates how wishes are done, and the Spice Girls girl power group wants to have wishes for all. Yay! Let's have wish communism. Like wishful communism for all, and that's pretty much the storyline stuff. But it's mostly the claptrap we've all come to expect from Disney at this point and stuff. And of course, much like the Marvels before and stuff, it is bombing hard. I think it's going to end up being like a net loss for Disney, and I find that fucking hilarious. To this day, I don't think I've ever watched Frozen. Yeah, I don't think I've watched Frozen. I've been out with Disney for a long ass time. Like I've watched the odd Disney animated series, Lion King. Yeah, like Disney hasn't been good for a while. Like I've watched the odd animated series, but honestly, even the last one I think I watched was Gravity Falls, and that was like forever ago. Disney is shit. It's not coming back. And you know what? The fact of the matter is Disney is the leading force behind the tomfuckery that is intellectual property laws in the modern world right now. And if Disney were to burn up and die and take all their IP shit with the IP tomfuckery with them, I say I'm all for it. It'll be totally worth it. I never watched Winx Club. I did watch Witch because I did read the original Italian, well, the translated Italian comics for Witch, and I did watch the Disney adaptation for Witch. It was okay. I don't know. And before anyone pipes up, I grew up on Sailor Moon, so as the magical girl genre, I don't mind it. No, I've heard of the reboot of Witch, and I, much like the reboot of Reboot, I can give it a pass. I'll have my fond memories of the original. It's to my understanding that the reboot of Witch is even more girl power y. Here's my opinion on this on the like here's the thing. When I grew up as a kid, I only had three channels and stuff. And to me growing up as a kid, a cartoon was a cartoon. Like I watched GI Joe, I watched Transformers. I watched all the boys cartoons, but I also watched all the girls cartoons. I watched Barbie, I watched My Little Pony, I watched Sailor Moon, Rainbow Bright. Fuck, what else was there? Strawberry Shortcake. Like I didn't really care. Cartoons were cartoons, and particularly '80s cartoons were just commercials to sell you kids toys. So it's like, whatever. It was all the same. What else was there? Okay, I got one more article, but and then I'll probably tangent on cartoons for until Kirsty streams. Let's see. Yeah, going back to the carbon, the climate death cults and stuff. Uh, This is shit we've heard before. All this here is that you are the carbon they want to get rid of, and this is just throwing on out numbers to justify them getting rid of you and blah blah blah. Yeah, carbon passports. Like Canada, we had the carbon tax for our gases, for our petroleum and stuff. Okay, yeah, that's it. So it's you. Okay, actually, so I want to spend the next 20 odd minutes until Kershi streams. I just want to tangent about cartoons because it's in my mind right now. Bring back Moomins. I don't think I ever watched Moomin. Yeah, I don't think I ever had Moomins. I think the only fuck what was it Samson Sally? Yeah, the only European cartoons I watched as a kid was the pre 90s Tintin cartoons and movies. Like not the Nova Tintin that was produced in Canada. I watched that, but the older Tintin cartoons, and the other one was Samson and Sally. I remember watching that a bunch as a kid. We did. I had okay. Here's the thing with Asterix and Obelix. I didn't. I never watched the Asterix and Obelix cartoons because we never for whatever reason we never got the Asterix and Obelix cartoons. But I did read all the books, like all the Asterix and Obelix books. They were in and they were in the library when I was a kid, and I read all of them. They were great. I love reading Asterix and Obelix. But I lost my train of thought. Okay, this was my cartoon growing up. Teddy Ruxpin was one of my favorite cartoons growing up, and I watched it a few years ago again. And on rewatching Teddy Ruxpin was the greatest. Teddy Ruxpin is the greatest Dungeons and Dragons campaign never played. And I don't know what can I even say about Teddy Ruxpin. Like you had it was a fantasy world. And it's like you had all of the different like character races and stuff. You had like Mavo, like the Monsters and Villain organization with the Supreme Oppressor. You had the big bad evil guy, and I remember having the toys and stuff, and the original '80s Teddy Ruxpin toy and the Grubby toy. I didn't have the Grubby toy, but I did have the Teddy one, and that thing was a fucking brick because it was just a solid brick of a cassette player. So this was the Teddy Ruxpin I had as a kid and stuff, and it was literally just a tape deck with like no padding. Like the only padding was in the arms and legs and stuff. Like the head was an animatronic mechanical thing that read the signal off the cassette player to move the mouth up and down and blink the eyes and stuff. And like the actual like cassette player part of it and stuff. Like I remember beaning one of my friends with this here thing because it was a fucking brick. Man, good times. Oh, what else? Man, Tintin. I'm trying to think because I remember. Yeah, because I remember reading like all the like when I was a kid in the library and stuff, like I remember reading mostly Asterix and Obelix, Tintin. What else? What did I read as a kid? Smurfs. I remember reading a shit ton of Smurfs. Like I remember reading the first zombie story. Because for those who don't know, the Smurfs had the first modern depiction of a zombie apocalypse, and it was with black Smurfs. And they redid that story not too long ago, like a few years ago, and they recolored the Smurfs to be like a blue or purple kind of thing instead of black. Oh man, I remember that. Fuck. Good times. Oh, what else? Yeah, kind of running out of steam. I thought I would have more to go on there, but I'm kind of running out of steam. And Kirsch's streaming in a bit. Hmm. Yeah. Aggie and the Cockroaches. I don't remember. Actually, that does ring a bell. I don't think I read it, though. I I did re. Lucky Luke does ring a bell. So I want to say yes. Let's see, Lucky Luke. Yep. I did read and see some Lucky Luke. Not too much though. Memories. Hmm. I'm just catching up in chat. Hmm. Yeah, I guess that might be it for the stream. Kirsch's on in a bit, and I need to do a couple of things before she starts, unless she cancels today. Let's see how many Clown World things she can bring up today. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up. So thanks for coming. I hope everyone had a good time. Didn't piss people off too much with the Clown World and stuff. Never knew Belgian cartoons and comics were big abroad. Oh yeah, they are. Here's the thing. Like I've always been a big cartoon guy growing up as a kid, and even to today and stuff. So like even though I may not have known where cartoons like knowing where cartoons came from, I did appreciate them for what they were, and it's nice. It's comfy. Another point of wholesomeness to bring us together, and yeah. So let's end on that happy note. So thanks for coming, and I'll probably stream in a couple of days because I don't want to let my news pile up and stuff. And I got in just in time before Kirsty starts. So thanks for coming and take it easy. Cheers.